This is a reading to try to figure out who's going to win the U.S. election. And I got a very interesting spread. I actually did this spread before, but I didn't record it, and now I felt like I really needed to. So I decided to do it again, and it's actually really giving me a similar spread to what I got before. So from this, what I see is that with the two choices that we have for our president, which is Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, there's someone else in the background who's watching it and controlling it. And is ultimately going to steal the election somehow from both of them. When this happens, Hillary is going to feel, she's going to portray herself as very hurt by this, very upset about it. And this person who steals the election is going to portray themselves as, well, first of all, there's going to be some sort of news that's going to come in that is going to allow this person to do this. And really, the only thing that I can think could happen is that this person is Obama, and that whatever the news is that's coming in that's going to allow him to steal the election is going to be some sort of attack on the U.S. or some sort of false flag operation, something to where he's the one who's going to be delivering the news. And when he does this, he's going to portray himself as the only person that can fix it, and he's going to declare himself like the dictator. Now, Trump is going to be pissed about this. He's going to be pissed that he put in so much work to try to win the presidency, only to lose. It's going to make him mad, but he's not going to really do much about it. He's not really going to care enough to do anything about it, and he's just going to go back to what he does best. He's just going to go back to, working in real estate and being a loudmouth and probably getting a TV show. He's just gonna be like, oh well, I guess I just gotta get back to work. He'll be pissed about it for a while, but it's not gonna affect him very much. And the real scary part about this is that Hillary, she's gonna portray herself as this hurt person, but she's in on it. She's in on him taking this over and in on this false flag operation, because she's bound to somebody in a higher position, and I get the feeling that she's being paid, and she's probably being promised a better position than being president of the United States. So that's why she's going to act like this. But she's ultimately going to get a better position, and she's getting lots of money. And I get the feeling that this is the UN. That it's Obama, Clinton, and the UN, and they're all in cahoots with each other to take over the US. And so Hillary is bound to the UN, and so is Obama. And I think that she's going to get a better position working for the UN, and she's going to make a lot of money doing that. And I think Obama right now thinks he's going to get the same thing. But I think what Obama doesn't know is that he might be a scapegoat for them, because they're saying like stay behind and like you can be the dictator for a little while, and then like once we have the U.S. like under our control, then we'll like give you a better position, but the U.S. is gonna fight. The U.S. is gonna fight the UN. They're gonna fight all these issues. They're gonna fight being taken over, and ultimately, the U.S. is gonna oust him. Is gonna oust Obama, and he's not gonna be like assassinated or anything like that. But I do get that he'll be like shunned. He'll be like exiled. And yeah, I feel like he'll be exiled, and that like he doesn't know it yet, and he's gonna be like he's gonna feel very betrayed, because he put his reputation on the line, but they didn't honor their promise to him. Now, I want to go through some of the cards. I'll just start asking questions, and see what we get. So let's start with is Obama going to remain in office and become a dictator? Well, what I get from this is that he's portraying that he's going to leave office right now, and the American public, like, you know, has been going through this election, like looking at all their options of like who could be the next president, who should we choose, and the whole time he's been standing tall, and he knows what the real plan is. So I think he is going to stay. Are the American people going to fight? Well, this was very interesting because so when I did this reading before, I basically got that the U.S. is not going to know what hit them, and it's going to be very swift. Like, well, basically, like, this card indicates, like, it's going to be very swift takeover, and they are going to, like, be in charge of everything. They're going to be in charge of all the resources, all the people, like, and the American people are going to be so stunned, they're not going to know what to do. They are going to be frozen. They're just going to be like, holy shit, like, how'd this happen? And this dictator is going to dole out the resources to whoever he feels, you know, like, gets what they get. I think for a while, well, this dictator is going to be very happy with himself. He's going to make himself rich, and the people in charge are going to be hoarding all the money, all the resources. But this is going to start because, like, we're not going to know the full extent of it, and then, so it's just going to, like, we're going to start to, like, get a hint of, like, unrest. Like, we're gonna start to get emotional about it, and be like, wait a minute, like, why do you guys seem like you're in such opulence, and we're in such, you know, just despair? Well, from this card, I feel like there's gonna be, like, an underground movement in the U.S. where the people are gonna have to be really strong to overcome this, but they're gonna start spreading the word about what's going on, and they're gonna start to unmask themselves and like realize that, like, this sort of, like, the way things were, like, where it was like a two-party system and all that, like, this is gonna start to unravel, and they're gonna realize, like, oh, holy shit, like, it was all rigged, and, like, there was no like, two-party system. It was all, like, an illusion. And this, I think that we're gonna realize that we've been lied to, and we're gonna throw caution to the wind, and we're gonna get rid of this emperor. We're gonna get rid of Obama. So let's ask some more questions. Show me what Hillary's gonna be doing during these times. Yeah, she's gonna portray herself to be defeated and hurt by the outcome. She's going to, like, delay herself. So she's gonna hang out, like, and wait for a little while. She's gonna, like, kind of go away, and then she's going to accept her new fortune with her new position in a higher place with the UN. Show me what Trump's gonna be up to. yeah, Trump he's just not going to care. He's going to be content with what he's got, all his money, and he's going to just go back and make more money. He's just going to go back to work and make money. All right, show me what the U.S. is going to look like 6 months after the election time. Well, there's going to be a swift takeover, and there's going to be a lot of disappointed people in what's going to happen. And then we're just going to sit back and wait and see what happens for a little while. Like, we're going to be stunned by this, and we're going to be like in so much shock that we're just going to like not do anything, see what happens. Show me what the U.S. is going to look like 1 year after the election. Yeah. Well, there's going to be chaos. And there's going to... the UN is going to be celebrating that they pulled it off. And they're gonna punish us. That's what this is about. They're gonna punish us. Show me what the U.S. is gonna look like 2 years after the election. Basically, we're gonna be under this rule of Obama, but also he has someone to answer to, which would be the UN, and we're gonna be forced to work. We're gonna be like slaves. Show me what the U.S. is going to look like 3 years after the election. Well, the UN and Obama are still going to be happy in their victory, but the people are going to start to become nostalgic for the way things were. And they're going to start spreading the news and trying to maybe underground start a revolution. Show me the U.S. 4 years from the election. Yeah. Well, the American people are very emotional. They feel heartbroken about what happened. But they're going to start their revolution. They're going to start their revolution against... See how this person is doling out the water, the resources, right? This is Obama / the UN, okay? All these... This is like bombs, right? Explosions. So, the American people are not going to take it anymore. They're heartbroken. They're emotional, and they're going to start the war. Are the American people going to be successful in taking back their country 4 years from now? Yes. This is amazing. This is our dictator, right? Doling out the resources. And we're bringing change. There's going to be change. And the people that are... what's going to change? Truth. Truth is going to be brought. Truth is going to defeat this person. Will, then after in 4 years, will we elect a female president? Wow. We're going to have victory. The sun is going to shine upon us again. And we're going to elect well, our cup's going to runneth over, but also the water, it indicates emotions. So it's fair to say that we probably are going to elect a woman because women are often emotional beings, and so it's very, very possible that we would elect a woman. And because the what is coming is like the truth bearer, I want to know if will Elizabeth Warren become our president in 4 years from now? Wow. Check that out. The dictator is going to go into hiding. He's going to be ousted and go into hiding. Just like I said earlier. That Obama's going to feel like he's shunned and he is going to have to leave and he's going to feel betrayed. And guess who takes his spot? A woman. I believe it's going to be Elizabeth Warren. What's going to happen to the UN in 4 years when they're defeated? I think the UN's just going to keep going on. Because they don't really answer to anyone because so many countries like are a part of the UN. They're just gonna keep conquering countries and like trying to take them over, and they already make so much money that like they're just like they're gonna keep their position in the world and like stay wealthy and keep ruling over countries and people. Will the UN ever try to take over the US ever again? I get the feeling from these cards that they may try to bind us in some way. They may try to make an offer to us, like some sort of like try to make a deal, or like try to make a deal or try to make an offer of peace or something. We're not going to accept it. We're going to keep on judging them for what they tried to do to us, and we're never going to let them bind us or fool us. Is the world going to start listening more to people like Alex Jones after this is all said and done? That's interesting. Well, what I get from these cards is that we're going to start praising like alternative media, because they were the ones speaking the truth, and we're going to hold them in a higher regard after this is all said and done. Like, they're going to be the authority on news after it's all done, and we're going to really like them. Wonder if, show me if Trump really is like a racist and a misogynist, and if he would have made a good president. Yeah. Unfortunately, like, I know Alex Jones like is promoting Trump, but I get the feeling from these cards that even though like Trump wanted to like dismantle like maybe the corruption that was happening, like he may have seen parts of that and didn't want that to happen, but he ultimately would not have made a good president, because I do get the feeling that like he is racist and he is misogynist. But also, more importantly, because I don't get from these cards that like those things would actually happen. Like, what I get from these things is that he would cause us so much anxiety and so much like sitting up in bed at night and like worrying and crying and tears and pain, because he's all about the money. And so he would have tried to become sort of like this like almost like a dictator to us, but also like a dictator to the world, where like he would demand money. So he would go like to other countries and be like, you want our protection? Give us money. He would go to the people of the US and he would be like, you want help? You have to pay for it. And I feel like would have been like, oh my God, like this isn't what we signed up for. And not only that, Trump would I get the feeling like that he would get bored, and he would probably like be looking for other opportunities. So like he would probably like get into office and be this very demanding person who, like, all he cared about was money, and would probably get a very bad disapproval rating. And he would be like, well, screw this, like, I can't change anything, like, no one's gonna listen to me, so I guess, like, I'm just gonna, like, look over there and, like, go do that, you know? Like, he's just, like, he wouldn't be interested anymore because he would feel like he couldn't change anything. So, I mean, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because unfortunately, like, the other thing that's gonna happen, like, is gonna be just as bad. Probably worse, because at least, like, if Trump was president, we wouldn't lose our sovereignty, and we wouldn't have to fight for our sovereignty back. But I mean, it definitely would have damaged our relations with the world, and I feel like it would damage our relations, like, with each other. How is Hillary going to be 4 years from now? Yeah, well, Hillary is I think she's well, 4 years from now, I mean, she'll always like, be on the defensive about her actions, but she's not gonna really care anymore, you know, because she's like, well, she'll always, like, portray herself to be like, oh, well, I'm hurt because, like, you know, the election was stolen from me. Like, she's never gonna stop telling that lie. And she's gonna be very defensive about it. But underneath it all, she's not gonna care. She's gonna move on because she's got this, like, better job with more money, and so she's just like, whatever. What kind of presidency is Elizabeth Warren going to bring to the U.S. 4 years from now? Well, here she is. She's going to be in charge, and it's very interesting that she's going to she'll be presiding over a lot of fighting people, and she's going to have to, like, deal with infighting within the U.S., and she's going to have to be so defensive for our sovereignty. But she's going to do it well, but she's going to be on guard, defending, you know, but she's going to have to deal with a lot of people, like, fighting over probably resources and things like that. Show me more about when Elizabeth Warren is president. Well, she's the truth bringer, so she's going to be the most transparent president we would have ever had. She's going to look to the world to help her, meaning, like, people that are our true allies. She's not going to trust the UN, but definitely look to the world for help, and she's going to bring us back to prosperity, which is good. And my last question, I'll say, how are U.S. Americans' relations with each other going to be 4 years from now? Well, emotions are going to run high, and we're going to be very defensive towards each other. Also probably about our things, our material things. We're going to be very defensive. But ultimately, we're going to work together. We're going to learn how to work together to bring back this prosperity, which right now is frozen. See how it's like frozen in stone. And we're going to work together to bring it back, and we're going to learn how to communicate better with each other, and maybe learn how to put these, weapons down. So we're going to have 4 years of like hell, but ultimately it's going to be okay. We're going to come out of it all right, but we're going to have to fight for our country, and unfortunately, I get the feeling that like most people are never going to know the truth. That there was like this big conspiracy behind the scenes to help the UN take over. Because Hillary's always going to like portray herself as like the victim. So a lot of people are probably gonna even like praise her and be like, well, good for her. Like, she had the election stolen and then she went and got like a better job. Like, so people are like, and I feel like that's what is gonna like cause a lot of the fighting after the fact. Is that like there's gonna be so much like people not believing each other type of thing. And unfortunately for Obama, like he's gonna become the scapegoat. Like he's gonna be like this dictator, and he's gonna be trying to do his best to like dole out the resources and work together with the UN to like try to make this happen. And ultimately, like, the people are gonna be like, no, like, we don't want a freaking dictator. Like, we want an elected official. We don't want the UN. We don't want any of this shit. And so, like, Obama's gonna think like, oh, well, it's okay. Like, UN's got my back. And ultimately, like, the UN's just gonna let him, like, go down with the ship. And he's gonna, because people like are gonna feel like you betrayed us, like because you took this office without our consent, and so like he's gonna be shunned and be like kicked out. And but like people aren't gonna know that either. Like I get the feeling like people, well, they'll have an inkling of that, and that's what like is gonna spark the revolution. But like I get the feeling that like a lot of people aren't gonna know, and they're just gonna think like, oh, fuck Obama, like let's just get him out of here because he's not our dictator. And they're not gonna know that like the UN had like, that it was all like the UN's idea. They're gonna think that it was Obama's idea to take over. That's why they're gonna hate him. And Hillary's gonna get rich off of it. And but ultimately we're going to after 4 years, we're gonna get a fantastic president in Elizabeth Warren, and she's going to like clean house and bring back prosperity to the US and like restore our faith in our country. So very interesting read. I'm so interested to know if this is gonna happen or not. So we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, that's it. Thank you.